Yeah, welcome all. This is Rajesh from CSC department, working as assistant professor in Gokaraju Rangaraju Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today I am going to discussing about algorithm. So what is an algorithm and how it was going to be, um, types of algorithms are there, and what are the characters or the properties of the algorithm. We are going to discussing it today, and along with an example. Right. The first main thing here is what is an algorithm? Why there is a need of algorithm? First point. The first thing here is why the need of algorithm here is basically it was considered to be as a designed document, considered to be as a designed document or blueprint of a design. Whenever there is a requirement of a problem analysis, after the analysis, we need to design an algorithm. So for that need, for designing purpose, we are mainly using algorithm. So, and actually there is a concept that another concept is also coming under to the designing concept, that is nothing but flowchart. After the algorithm, we are going to discussing about the flowchart also. Okay. So let us see that what is an algorithm, define an algorithm. A simple concept I can able to say you, it is a sequence of steps or instructions to accomplish a particular task, or simply we can say that it is step-by-step process to step-by-step process, step-by-step approach to solve a given problem. So in simple words also we can able to say like this, it is a step-by-step approach to solve a given problem. So like that also we can able to say. And first most thing here is it was developed by an Arab mathematician. Okay, and one more thing that we are going to using few symbols in general English language. We can able to write an algorithm. So that is what the algorithm we are calling it as in general algorithm. But using this English languages also, we are using some kind of symbols like greater than, less than, and equal to, and etc. Right. And the thing here is, in order to solve a problem, or to write a program, we approach towards a solution to the problem in a systematic way. That is what we are going to designing it. Step by step way is called algorithmic approach, right? So the people, first most thing that you people already been understand that what is an algorithm. Sorry, before that, what is the need of algorithm? So for the designing purposes, there is a need to go with algorithms. From which step to another step, that means it always consists of a sequence of steps to accomplish a particular problem or a task, or we can able to define it as a step-by-step approach to solve a given problem. So that is also one of the ways we can able to define an algorithm. And using that algorithms, we are going to using a few symbols like greater than, less than or equal to. Like that, we can able to use all the kind of operators that was been available in your C language also. What is the need of using the symbols? Also, I will tell you what is the need of it. To solve in order to solve these kind of problems, that we can able to go to design a systematic way of approaching the problem. Okay, so for that purpose, the algorithm is required. And the next one, and the next thing here is, what are the properties of an algorithm? The properties of an algorithm, every algorithm is consisting of, first one is input. That means every algorithm, it will be satisfied with the criteria or the properties or characteristics of an algorithm, we can simply say that input 0 or more quantities are externally supplied. So whatever the inputs that we are going to be giving, those things we are going to discussing about whether we can able to give any 0 or 0 or more quantities are externally supplied. Right? Output. Then what is that output in the sense? Output is nothing but at least see based on your desired input, based on your inputs, you are going to expecting the desired output. There is at least one quantity of the output we are going to be expected. So at least one quantity, at least one value of output that you are going to be expected. So and the next one here is definiteness. What is the meaning of definiteness here? We are going to defining the main heart of the program, that means which is nothing but the main logic. After taking the inputs, we need to get some kind of output, right? So in order to get that kind of output, we need to perform some kind of logical operations. So the formula you can able to simply call it as something, if you are going to dealing with some kind of maths or something like that, then C is equal to, I said, A plus B. That is what the definition you are going to be defining. It has to perform based on that addition only, addition of two numbers only, we can able to store a single value was being came into the picture. You can get the some desired output. The desired output will be stored into the C variable. Like that, we can able to define the main logic, whatever you are going to be um, defining. So that is what he is calling it as in definiteness. Right, then what is the next one here is the finiteness. So the finiteness is that it is trying to define you the number of steps. It consists of this n number of steps to trace out the case of problem to finite number of steps. That is what we are calling it as. That means it was trying to explaining the how many number of steps your program, your design concept of that particular problem was being completed. So that's what it was trying to giving the finiteness. Then effectiveness is nothing but any programmer or a person can using a pencil and paper, you can able to design that algorithm. Design an algorithm. See, this kind of algorithm is not only applicable on softwares, it can able to be applicable to general to deal with any kind of situations. Okay, so this is what the properties of an algorithm you can able to say. And the next one here is the algorithm advantages. And the next, what are the advantages of an algorithm? What are the advantages of an algorithm is nothing but it was give you the find out the best solution to go for it. And one more thing here is whatever the given problem, it can able to find out the core solution for it. So, and apart from these things, the main thing regarding this algorithm here is it is nothing but a blueprint or the design or the root based of a designed algorithm. Sorry, design document we can call it as. And the second most important thing here is it can be used to easily identify the logical errors in a program. It can easily identify to remove of logical errors in a program, because as the algorithm is consisting of sequence of steps, then we can able to catch hold of this particular program error, so that according to that we will give you the patch once again regarding the program. So right, these are the advantages that we can able to say about the algorithm. And what is the next one here is the disadvantages of the algorithm. So this is also one of the most point to go further for flowcharts, man. Why we had been gone for the flowchart, right? So it's trying to describing you the disadvantages here is if you can able to face the complex algorithms. Then what is the meaning of complex here? Are difficult to trace out the steps. So the example, like we can able to say, I am going to dealing with some kind of more than 1,000 steps. it is highly impossible to put a pen on a paper so that we can able to start writing all those 1,000 steps, and it is highly difficult to trace out some at some point of moment. It is difficult to trace out the steps also. So in order to overcome so these things, they came up with flowcharts, man. Fine, no problem. So but one of the disadvantages is dealing with the complex algorithm is one of the difficult task to trace out the instructions. And the next one here is lack of visual representation. What is the meaning of visual representations, man? The meaning of visual representations are nothing but the symbolic languages, right? So if symbolic an object, that means simply call it as symbolic languages, you can able to use it. See, the one of the best example I can able to say you here is my kid is going for pre-primary school. Okay, as nowadays now almost all the online classes are going to be happening now, and in that most of the teachers, as per my observations, not only from my side, I just whatever had been observed, I'm trying to explaining you. The most observation I had been seen that instead of saying in the words, this is an apple, the kid cannot understand what is that apple. Okay, but what they're trying to saying instead of words, they are showing the object. That means they are trying to showing the apple symbol and saying that that is nothing but the object I'm trying to say. Apple is nothing but an object. That means item. That by showing that object, it was they are trying to saying, okay, this is what called as apple. That means instead of words, they are trying to giving what man an object. That means some picturization, that some visualization they are trying to giving to the students. They're delivering the knowledge to the students. So based on that object, they are trying clearly saying that this is an apple, because see, by seeing a picture we can able to gather the information as faster. So that is what the main logic behind this one, so that they are using lack of visualization. See, if I have based on the algorithm, if I have the sequence number of steps, I have to read from starting point, step one start, and to the ending point start, step something else, the infinite step, which was been written with stop. But it is I need to start from the starting step to the ending step. I need to read each and every instruction. That means instruction is nothing but steps here. Okay, so this is highly difficult if I'm going to facing some kind of complex algorithms, so that they need to overcome with this kind of visual representations, which are nothing but flowcharts. Right. So how we can able to see and all, after the ending of the examples of the algorithm, we will come into the picture of flowchart. Okay. Right. The next one here is a simple example I can able to say you here is example of an algorithm adding two numbers. Start step one, step adding two numbers. Step one, start. Step two, read two numbers as A and B. Step three, add numbers A and B and store the result in C. See, the general English language it was going to be written. That is what the general algorithm we are calling it as. But whereas I said that in pseudo algorithm, there are two kinds of algorithms are there. So according to the two kinds of algorithms, we can able to say the another one is general algorithm and another is pseudo algorithm. Right. So the general algorithm is seems to be like with the same example that step one start, read, step two read two numbers as A and B, and step three add numbers A and B and store the result in C. Finally, step four is trying to giving you the output. Man, have you people observed that? See, all the properties that was being discussed in the above, that means in the couple of minutes back, we had been discussed what are the properties or characteristics of an algorithm. The first one is the start one, and the next one is the input, and the third one is the definiteness. That is what the logic we are going to be defining, and the fourth one is output, and finally it is going to be stop. So start and stop are mandatory. Okay. So between these things, what kind of inputs that has been taken, what kind of output we are going to be expecting, and between this input and output, the main logic that you are going to be definiteness. This is how an algorithm has been designed. So we can able to write simply using a general English language. We can able to define this kind of algorithms. You can able to design on your own. Whereas a pseudo algorithm may consist of, see, like the programming languages. First one, the step one is start is mandatory, and the last step, the stop, is also mandatory. But in the step two, I said int x is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20, right? And in the step three, I said c is equal to a plus b with semicolon. Then the fourth step, I said that printf percentage the sum is equal to percentage d within the double quotes and the comma. Then the variable that I'm going to displaying here is c, right? So finally we are going to be stop. So that is what we can able to write. That means simply the program language that you are going to writing in the algorithm in the sequence steps, then we are calling it as an then we are calling those kind of algorithms as an pseudo algorithms, right? So the average of three numbers, start and to read the numbers a comma b and c, compute the sum and divided by 3, right? So store the result in variable d, print the value of d, and finally stop or end, whatever it is. Right? So this is how we are going to be defining the algorithms, right? So average of an n inputted numbers. So the step one, start, and step two, read the number n, and step three, initialize I to 0, initialize sum to 0. So these are all the inputs that we are going to be taking in. See, and the step 5 onwards, the definiteness is going to be started. If I is greater than n, then step 6, read a. Then step 7, add a to sum. Then step 8, go to step 5 and come back once again until this repetition of loop will be happen. The repetitive execution was been happen until the condition becomes false. I is greater than n becomes false, then it will start going to divide the sum by n and store the result in average. Then finally what we have to go for, print the average, then finally stop. So this is all about this algorithm, man. This is all about the algorithm.